Hi, I'm Christine Mahoney, and today I'm talking to Martin Vanderskow, the President and CEO of Looking Glass Development and a recognized leadership and performance management expert. Thanks for talking to me today, Martin.
Thank you, Christine. Glad to be here.
So you've written a book called Flavor of the Month, and you're outlining several different strategies for overall good communications among teams. One of the strategies involves email. In sometimes a potentially devastating or overwhelming situation for companies, and especially top-level management, as this BP oil spill, how would you recommend that the folks there handle communications by email more effectively and consistently to get their message out to their employees and to the public?
Well, the topic of email is a common problem. If you look at organizations today, in most cases, over 65% of the communication we have happens through email. Unfortunately, email is a terrible communication vehicle. If you look at the way we actually get understanding, studies have shown that we get only 7% of understanding from the actual words themselves. We get approximately 38% of the understanding in any message from tone that we're using. And we finally get the last 55% of understanding from nonverbal cues. So how you're sitting, how you're standing, your facial expressions, a myriad of other things.
All of which you miss in an email.
Absolutely. So when we look at getting good understanding out of an email, you're left with simply the words. 7% of the understanding getting through. It's why when you look at the way a lot of our kids communicate with their text, their Blackberries, whatever, everybody's always putting little smiley faces and things on their email. They're trying to improve the messaging, the intent, provide some tone, etc. to what's going on. It's just an ineffective vehicle. There are some things that email does extremely well. Broadcast messaging, where we want to have a consistent message going out to everybody. Email can be very good for that kind of thing. Email can also be good in terms of record keeping. So I want to make sure that from a legalistic standpoint, we have a timestamp in terms of when a message went out. Email does well for that. In terms of document sharing, unfortunately, email is also very, very risky. Whenever I attach a document to an email and I'm working in an organization, the problem we all face is now I've got versioning. I've sent that email out, and pretty soon I send out another one and another one. And how do I ensure that everybody's got the latest version of whatever we're talking about? Some people, they'll put, version numbers on every document. Make sure you're using the latest version. That doesn't work. There's always somebody who's outdated when you do that. That's why we recommend several things. Number one, email should always be used in conjunction with at least one or two other communication vehicles. For example, phone calls, meetings, those kinds of things, blogs, collaboration tools like SharePoint or other similar tools that are now available to multi-channel the message. The thing we tell people is if you really want good communication to happen in your organization, you need to be using at least 3 different channels. And each channel needs to push the message at least 3 different times. And even then, you will have some people that don't get the right message. Number 2, when you have documents that you need to share, rather than email the document, which not only is an ineffective communication tool, but your email administrators get very frustrated with as you're clogging servers with all these documents, do hyperlinks or use document storage solutions that allow you to put on intra or extranet sites the important documents that you're trying to share. When you do that, people can simply click on the link and they'll always have the latest version of whatever it is. Much, much, much more efficient. Finally, we look at email and we have some basic rules that we think make it much more effective. We always tell people that they need, if there's action required, and for a lot of executives, the number seems to be about 100 to 125 emails a day that leaders are receiving. And somehow it's expected that we get through all those emails in a timely fashion. Now, I can speak from experience and tell you that when I'm getting that many emails, which I regularly do, I can't spend more than about 30 seconds or maybe a minute on a given email unless it somehow percolates my attention, raises my attention that I need to do something there. Yet I get email after email from people where it's like reading War and Peace. It's 2, 3, 5 pages worth of material, and at the very bottom of the email, the person sending it wanted me to do something.
And you may not have gotten to that point
I
before you
never
gave
get
up.
it. Exactly. And that's what regularly happens. So if action's required in an email, the very top in the subject line, always put action required, colon, and then whatever the action you expect from me, right there at the top. What I will then do by seeing that, it tells me, hey, I need to read this so that I have the background for the action you're asking. In addition to that, we all get emails that frustrate us. One of the things I tell people is live by a 24-hour rule. Never, ever, ever hit that reply to all. We've all gotten those emails, I call them flame mails, where all they do is frustrate us, they make us angry. We can tell that somebody's just covering their tail or trying to make you look bad. Responding in kind just exacerbates the situation. Don't do it. Sit on the email for 24 hours, and in many cases what you'll find is the person who sent it often didn't mean it the way you're taking it. And so just by cooling off a little bit, you can respond more effectively. Also, when you do email, use lots of bullets. They're much easier to read and understand, and a lot of white space. Remember, we're trying to communicate ideas to people, and so we need to make it easy. By having a lot of white space, bullets, easy to understand structure, we're going to be much more effective in using email. And finally, pick up the phone or get up off your behind and go talk to people.
In person,
In
right?
person.
If you
Absolutely.
can. Or by phone.
Absolutely. People believe all the time, and I see this every place I go, that if I just send out an email, I get something off my desk, and I'm done with it. What invariably happens, though, is the person I send it to has 5 or 10 other questions about this email. It comes right back to me, and it's 2 or 3 times more complicated. If I would actually just go talk to the person, it can resolve an issue much more efficiently. And the other thing it does is we regularly see issues where, for example, you want something from me, and so I'll send you an email and say, just write out your requirements for me, what you want from me, and I'll take care of it. Everybody recognizes that all you're doing is pushing it off your desk and back on mine. And all it does is frustrate the other person. So again, take ownership of those things, go make them happen, and use email much more effectively and understand what it's good and not good at. And you'll be a lot more successful.
And if folks read Flavor of the Month or listen to the audiobook, they can be reminded of this concept as well. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Martin Vanderskouw. Thank you very much.
Thank you.